Hello, welcome again. I know, all these TikToker influencers out there, they talk about catching somebody's attention in the first 3 seconds and all that bullshit. My story is so incredibly long that I could never grab your attention in 30 seconds or 10 seconds. You're just gonna have to hear the whole fucking story and piece it together for yourself. But just for me, I'm making a prediction. My religion in this world will be started after I die, because when my TikTok channel gets discovered and people adopt my ideas for humanity, they're going to realize that I was right all along. It might take 100 years, and hopefully it'll take just a few years while I'm alive. But after I'm dead, it doesn't matter. I want to fix this world, okay? And that's what I wanted to say. So, my videos are strange, they're psychotic, they're schizophrenic, but I believe I'm in contact with the Creator, and He's chosen me, and I've turned that idea down now since 1988. People have told me you're crazy, you're not, you can't be in touch with God, there's no way He's communicating with you, and I'm crazy, and I need lithium, and I need pills and Prozac, and I'm bipolar, and I'm mood swing, and all. And I've never been none of that shit. Okay, I've just been telling the truth my whole life. And Brooke Shields says, find something you're passionate about and do it. And I'm passionate about fixing the earth for the long haul, for all of humanity. Humans are in control, and we got to get our act together as a one world government. Okay, we have to pool our resources and conglomerate manufacturing and let the people do what they do best around the world. The Chinese have 20 cities over 10 million people. Or 20 million people. We have one city nearing 10 million people in New York City. They have the manpower to do the manufacturing. They don't have to work 90 hours a week. They have a lot of people to do all that work. It's monotonous, whatever. That's what they do. That's what they specialize in, okay? They put in their 6-8 hours a day, and they live a very comfortable life on a decent living with a partner with 1 or 2 kids. The infrastructure is incredible over there. Anyway, my plan for the earth and what God is telling me, okay, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I know who is intelligent on this earth. This TikTok is a creation to find out who the fuck is smart and who the fuck are the liars and the dummies. And let's separate the two, okay? The only way we're going to get anywhere in this earth is with truth, okay? You have to be truthful in what you do. You have to be who you are. You can't be lying to advance yourself, or coercing or bribing somebody to get somewhere. You can't be manipulating the laws of the land to get your way, to get anywhere. We're never going to get anywhere that way. The Creator's telling me He does not approve of that. Okay, it's not the direction He wants the earth to go in. Okay, we have to turn this around. We have to turn the world blue. Okay, there's plenty of money for everybody to do whatever. There's no greed has to be removed. Period. All right. So, I can tell you, just to give you a hint of how God communicates with me. All right, when my pineal gland is activated, which I reactivated it in the last 18 months. It was activated in 2017. It was activated in 1988, and it was activated now. I'm in a pineal activation. I have to keep the plasma from the sun direct. I can't use my Ray-Bans. The band rays, they're blocking the plasma entering your retina. to activate your pineal gland. So that's why I made everything. This was all pre-planned, everything. Ray-Ban, I own every company on the earth. And they're all ranked by color, blue and red. But anyway, Ray-Ban are banned the Rays. You guys are banning the Rays. But I get, right there, I get activated. So he steers me, just like you do every day. You make decisions. What do you listen to? Who do you swipe? What news do you listen to? What music do you choose? Or do you let the music be chosen randomly for you? Now, whatever media gets presented to you, that's for a reason. You're following your gut, your feelings, your happiness, your pleasure. I'll tell you a story, and I'm gonna lay it out one day. But I learned from Tony Robbins in 1990. I had his tapes, Pain and Pleasure. I learned to avoid pain at all fucking costs. Anyway, that was my basis when I was 20 years old, learning from Tony Robbins. I only did that one thing. I never listened to him again. I didn't do the Cole thing. Doesn't matter. I got a basis from one of the, more enthusiastic people on the earth. Whether he's got money or not, that's so hard to say. Grant Cardone, I had a training session with him in Orlando, Florida in the late 90s. Great, super, you the man. That ain't bad. That's a sales meeting right there. How many agree that's a sales meeting? With Central Florida Lincoln Mercury, where I was Inner Circle winner, top 10 salespeople for Lincoln Mercury in the southeastern United States. And most of them were all fleet guys and lease guys and, doing multiple companies. I was a personal salesman, one-on-one with a person, shaking hands every day, individual. I was in the Inner Circle for Lincoln Mercury. It's the biggest deal ever, okay? I had a ring. I lost it in the desert in California in a psychotic episode. I had a gold ring with a black onyx on it, and inside was engraved with my name, Peter Coolin, engraved. It was given to me in 1997 or 98 by Glenn Gibson of Central Florida Lincoln Mercury. I have receipts for everything I do. Anyway, I was the best salesman anywhere, ever. Lincoln Mercury, you could sell maybe 20 Hondas a month. You could maybe sell 12 Lincoln Mercurys a month because they're shit cars and no one wants them, and they were expensive, and they were just Fords with fucking Lincoln names on them, right? Built at the same plants, except for one, Wixom, and then they fucked all that up. So they fucked up the Lincoln, and that's why they sell 10 a month now a store. I was doing 176 units a month with Glenn Gibson at Central Florida Lincoln Mercury, okay? And I was number one every month. No one could touch me. I was selling 30 Lincolns and Mercurys a month. I was number one in gross, number one in units, number one in finance, number one in leasing, number one in, you name it, insurance, the whole thing. They ranked in 7 or 8 categories, and the higher you were, the lower points you got. So the lowest points you got is a total. I won them every month by a landslide because I run every category every time, and no one could touch me. So they moved me to like the internet, and they moved me to closing, and then they made me do all the ordering for the cars. For the manager was Glenn. He said, "Oh, can you order all the cars for me? Lincolns and Mercurys." I was like, "Oh, I love this color." I designed the cars. I picked options that no one wanted. They sold like fucking crazy. We made tons of money. In the 90s, I was making $8,000 a month. In the 90s, okay, and by the 2010s, I was making $250 a month every year. Sorry. $8,000 in 1990s and $250 a year in the 2010s, working on my own, working 20 weeks a year. So a car salesman, as predicted by the Beatles, a man from the motor trade. 1988, I'm going to tell you about the book that was created. A guy that predicted the return of Christ in 88 Reasons Why He'll Come Back in 88. And I had a psychotic episode where I met hell and heaven, and I did the whole thing, and I tell the whole story where I bit off my tongue and pulled the false fire alarm in Toronto. Doesn't matter. I'm here in basically Key West, Florida, and I am watching what's going on in the world. God is communicating to me, and what I was saying was, The Cure have a new album. I didn't listen to The Cure unless it was back in the 80s. They had some great songs, The Cure did, and so they had a real personal touch with me. And I'm telling you about how music controls my life and tells me how things go and who's who. But since they were important in the 80s when I was in my teens and 20s, they have come out with this thing called Songs of a Lost World. The first song is Alone. And the album cover is wild. So, you know, I was looking for new music because I'm looking for more communication from God. I know every song that's popular. I've got rock and roll back to the 50s and where Elvis started with his first hit. Okay, that started the whole thing. That kind of got people motivated to be in rock and roll. Give credit to Chuck Berry, but really the whole thing about it were the Beatles, and the Beatles started rock and roll. Okay, they're pop, but I'll tell you why they started rock and roll. It's because who they inspired. Okay, every good group, especially from England, that's where a lot of communication comes from. But I don't know if it's the Royals are connected somehow to the Creator. They've got it all wrong with the Catholic Jesus thing and all that, but they're onto something, you know, with the kingdom thing. Look how they behave. Look how they communicate. You know, it's setting an example. The Windsors set an example. Catherine couldn't be more royal, but the Beatles started these guys, and I'm sure the Cure loved the Beatles. I have no idea. I've never researched them. I've researched everyone else, and I'm gonna do it. I'll probably find some shit out that I knew already, and I knew, and then there's gonna be freaky dates and everything else. But looking at this album cover, and I'll get back to the Beatles and rock and roll, and just to sum that up, the four guys. Look at the four guys. Okay, first of all, they played in Germany fucking 10 hours a day. Every day in a sleaze bar, a fucking brothel, and played like their hearts out for hundreds of hours a month, just playing, perfecting their skill, and then, you know, writing their own songs, which at that point there's not that many great songwriters and that would sing their own songs. People were writing for everyone else, you know, so they wrote their own songs and they developed their craft. And with the help of George Martin, just developing that psychedelic, you know, where they call progressive rock, or that Sgt. Pepper's feel, you know, it was just amazing album to just change and infect so many people. All great people know the significance of that album and the cover of that album. Do you know who's on the cover? You guys got to ask ChatGTP, just like I asked ChatGTP about this album cover I'm about to tell you about. I asked ChatGTP, and they gave me the most fantastic answer. All right, so the answer were all the people on the album cover and who they were, whether they were a yogi instructor or architect of a crazy place in LA that a guy spent 31 years building. Obviously people that they admired, comedians, actresses, some nice classic Hollywood actresses, you know, but I can tell you this, you know, Hitler wasn't on there, and Charles Manson wasn't on there, or anybody else famous that were negative. Everyone on that page were positive people, okay? So the four guys, look how they ended up, okay? Paul McCartney is the most prolific musician as far as live shows. He's never stopped. I saw him live in 1990 at Knebworth, and I'm going to tell you all about Knebworth, okay? But Knebworth was a concert put on for the Sun, okay? You know what I'm saying. I can't say it because I don't want people to think I'm crazy, because I'm not. But these are the messages I'm getting. I'm going to tell the whole story, and you tell me if it makes sense, or it might make a great fucking movie, because I'm going to make a movie out of it. Because in the end, this guy who's figured this out is going to meet Stevie Nicks, because his movie that he makes of this life leaves the ending open about him. Maybe he'll meet her, maybe he won't meet her. But what happens in real life, he meets her. And that's the fourth part of the movie. Okay, so it's a 3-part movie. It's going to be the greatest trilogy ever. It's going to have the most gross ever. I'm not going to release it on streaming. I'm going to leave it in theaters. I'm going to bring it out every Christmas because there's going to be a little bit of a Christmas element in part of it because it's a 50-year story. But I'm going to keep it rare. Like Avatar should have never went to video. Sure, they want to make another $300 billion on video, but my movie is going to be available in theaters and IMAX shit only. It's going to be full every time. It's going to be full for years because I'm only going to allow it in the proper setting. I'm not going to allow it on an iPhone. I'm not going to allow my movie on a shitty TV or in a crummy theater where they have the aisle down the middle and it's like you're sitting at home in your basement. Bullshit theaters. We got to get back to the real shit. But anyway, my fourth part of that movie is going to be whatever happens between Miss Stephanie Nicks and myself. I don't know. People told me my whole life, you deserve her, she deserves you. Okay, so I take it. I'm just conveying what people tell me. I'm not out here trying to chase down Stevie Nicks and see her at every concert. I've seen her dozens of times. I don't need to see her anymore. And quite frankly, her show. And no disrespect, Stevie. I love that you're trying. You're 76. I mean, the show has deteriorated a little bit, from the 80s, of course. I mean, I saw you in 1986, and you should remember this if you come across this story. And I'll get to this album cover of Cure in a minute, because it's a meteor with a carving of a face. Okay, so and the face is not human, but it could be human, but it could be, from a million years ago. But anyway, I'll get back to that. As far as Stevie and I her show's not what I like. I mean, I saw her in 1986, and what I was saying is she should remember this. Peter Frampton opened up. What a gift that was! I didn't even know who was opening, but I got there early, and I'll tell you how I got to the front row in the very center in 1986. It was in August. I bought the tickets in June, and you had to stand in line back then. But I'll tell that whole story because that's the intro of my movie. It's a young man. He's 19, and he's 140 miles an hour down the 410 in Brampton to the 401 to go buy Stevie Nicks tickets, going 140 miles in his Honda Interceptor 1000 in the red, white, and blue. In the red, white, and blue. All right, in the red, white, and blue. My car glows red. I got a Fila sticker on the back of my car. People know who I am. I'm the red, white, and blue guy. This is my worldwide colors. You'll see me often wear a Tommy Hilfiger logo because of the red, white, and blue. When I was in Hawaii, I was designing the world flag, and the Tommy Hilfiger was the inspiration of the world flag, and I drew it on a sheet that I had with a marker, and I wore it around as a cape when I was going around Maui, homeless for 4 months to have an experience. I'll tell you the whole story one day, but back to my movie and back to Stevie. All right, so the concert. My twin brother and I, and we looked exactly alike at that time, 19 years old, came to the show, parked ourselves in the very center, 2 seats in front. Peter Frampton opened, incredible. I mean, with the whistle thingy and the guitar, what's the song called? There's my dementia kicking in. But his best live song, Peter Frampton, with the bassist was the bald guy, is cool as shit. Peter Frampton had his hair down at that point, long, and so I got to see Peter Frampton in his fucking peak. I mean, he's on a chair now doing it. He's trying doing it, but it's not the same. When you saw him live in 1986 in August, doing the song, it was unbelievable. He was perfect. It was on. I was in the front row watching the dude, and no pictures, nothing back then. And then Stevie must have seen the twins in the front row. I don't know if she got freaked out by it or not, because when she went to shake everybody's hand across the stage during Edge of 17, she was coming towards us, and I'm going, oh my God, because this was my idol since Stand Back came out. And when Stand Back came out, I fell in love with music. It was the song, and I give Prince the credit, really, but it was the song that, and because Prince is very, very special. Yeah, that's another story. But anyway, Ever since then, I was infatuated. I had posters on my wall and odd B-side music that no one knew about, and I listened to Rock a Little was the album that I bought, and when I was in high school, I was riding the bus listening on my Walkman to Stevie Nicks' Rock a Little, which is a weird album, but I loved it, you know. All right, so with the concert, she was coming across, and I'm getting excited. I've been idolizing this woman for years now, and I see her for the first time, and she's gonna shake my hand. I'm gonna freak out. And she came up to me, skipped me and my twin, and shake everybody else's hand down the line. And I was like, what the fuck? That sucks so much. Oh well. Anyway, we watched the whole show, and she probably won't remember because actually she was quite coked out. I mean, the lyrics were not the same exactly, and she didn't sing it the same. Like she perfects it now, and I think she understands what the fans want. But back then, she would kind of ad-lib a little and sing differently. So it was kind of noticeable. Now that I knew her history through the early '80s, it was obvious that she was pretty much coked out. But anyway, that's how I got to know Stevie. I saw her again in 1991 at Canada's Wonderland. She had Billy Falcon open for her, and if you haven't heard Billy Falcon's album Pretty Blue World, you're missing out. Just front to end, every song's fantastic. The whole album's great. He was great live. He sings and harmonizes with Bon Jovi on that album, Pretty Blue World, and it's a must have. It's a must listen. Anyway, I saw her in '91 in Canada's Wonderland, but a woman that I was banging, 40-year-old, I was 91, I was 23, 24. So I was banging the woman that took me to the concert. She was married, and I lived with them. Figured that one out for 5 years. That was going on. Anyway, she took me, but she didn't buy. I want to be in the front. I've been in the front row a dozen times. I was sitting in the back, and I could barely see her, and it was so depressing because I couldn't. All those people down there, that should have been me. I could have been, So that wasn't very fun. And then I saw her. The next time I saw her was in 1997 in Orlando, Florida, at the old Amway, which has been torn down. The old Amway Center there was torn down now, but it was Fleetwood Mac, and they were doing the dance, okay? And I was selling cars at the time, 97, selling Lincolns and Mercuries, crushing it, and I was dating my wife, would be my wife. I married her the following year because I got her pregnant, which was a fuck up. I should have not married her, but anyway, marriage is not for me until now. I'm ready for Stevie. I've saved my whole life for her. I'll tell you, what, the next time I saw her after that was, after the dance was wonderful, I was selling cars. The next time I saw her was 2005 in Tampa, and Vanessa Carlton, and that's a must artist to listen to. Vanessa opened up for her, and she started with 1,000 miles, and she says, "Yep, I'm that girl." Like no one knew who the fuck she was until she played that song, because obviously that's my least favorite song of Vanessa Carlton's catalog. Okay, I mean the Lieberman album is phenomenal, and it tells so many stories about the king and the queen and the rinsing, and she doesn't know it, and she doesn't know she's divine. Okay, that God is communicating the creator, not Jesus. God damn it. The creator is communicating to Vanessa Carlton. Do you know that her mentor is Stevie Nicks? That she gives credit to Stevie Nicks for some of her success, and her obviously her mentor growing up, like everybody's. Stevie's the queen, right? We gotta give her the queen status of rock and roll, right? Of all women in rock and roll ever. Let's face it. Yeah, and you know, she should have when she was coked out in the 70s and wrote all those fucking demos. She should have recorded every one of them. Let's face it. If she would have went solo, or it was just her and Lindsay, it would have been such a much bigger success than it is now. Believe it or not, in my opinion. If she would have recorded all her music instead of leaving it till later, and no one gives a shit anymore. And no one listens to a 60-year-old woman. She was in her fucking prime in the 60s, man. You know, with the Vault and the Dreams album in the teens. Anyway, all right. So to just finish this out with Stevie, because I'm getting to a point with my movie in part 4. I saw her with Vanessa Carlton. She's fantastic. She's unbelievable. I'm going to tell you all about her and me and Maui and the Ritz-Carlton. The Ritz-Carlton for a reason, but Vanessa, I'll tell you all about her, and listen to all her music. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Anyway, the girl that took me to that concert, we had like the 17th row in the front in Tampa at the amphitheater there, the Ford Amphitheater at the time. And I did manage to get, by the time Edge of 17 was on, I did manage to get to the second row, climbing on people. So, and I did get to shake her hand for the first time in Tampa in 2005. Then I saw her in 2009 in Edmonton, and I told that whole story in another video where I was the only person that she shook hands with in that whole building in her last concert in the North America, the Unleashed tour in 2009, and that was June 24th, and that was the day before. And the reason why this happened, because it was pre-planned. You know, there's a kingdom that we got to get back to that we used to have in another dimension before this one, and it's just crisscrossing, you know, the twin polar things. But anyway, sorry, I'm here getting bread from my mother at Publix. Anyway, that concert, I was the only one that she shook hands with, and it was marked by, on the 25th of June, the day after, because I got home at 5 in the morning from driving from Edmonton to High Prairie in a Hummer H3. And the next day after that concert, Michael Jackson died at age 50 exactly. It was no coincidence. And, you know, these are obvious signs to me about how I'm communicating. You know, God's telling me I'm going to be with Stevie Nicks. He told me that in 2016. He confirmed it with me, and I believed it. And so I'm believing it, and I'm going to go about it the right way, because I want her interested in me. And if that makes me making a $4 billion movie, an amazing movie with incredible schizophrenic visions. I'm going to put it on film, what I experienced in the most amazing 3D experience in the Sphere, meant for places like that. We're going to have one for the Sphere, but it'll be an annual or a weekly or a monthly thing there for this film. Okay, and anyway, the graphics, I don't know who's going to do it. I only want Tom Hanks's company, and I don't know what his production company's called anymore. I used to remember when he did From Earth to the Moon. Okay, you got to watch that. You got to watch that. It's so real and so tells the truth. Truth. Tom Hanks is about truth. Anyway, I want his company, whatever that company is that did that, I want his production company to do it. And I don't know if I want Steven Spielberg involved or James Cameron or somebody visionary. Probably Robert Zemeckis would be the perfect guy for a movie like this. The movie here I thought was amazing. I don't care. I don't listen to the critics, and I don't listen to the general public. These films were made for the king to understand shit. Okay, and that movie taught me so much, and that could be a whole nother video. But Forrest Gump, here, and Back to the Future, and so many other amazing movies Robert Zemeckis did. He would be the perfect candidate. And you know, the way they can age people now, like Tom was 18 and he was 60s or 70s at the end of that movie, whatever it was. And he, they can do that now. It's so believable. So, but the psychedelic schizophrenic visions are going to be 3D wicked wild, right? And coming in and out of it, and what happens, and the music that plays along with it, and it's it's going to be a 3-hour rock concert story, love story, that ends up with the most beautiful twist in the end, as my girl Stevie is playing Twisted with so good, Twisted. Anyway, yeah, with the color of the wind lift you up to God. Steve, I wanted to tell you, the blue denim that you sing about on your 94 album there, that's my eyes with the sun. They change colors with the sun. Anyway, with Stevie and those concerts, and with Michael Jackson, after that concert, and I'll tell you, a woman brought me to that concert too, and we were in like the 20th, 30th row on the floor, and I'm like, I don't want to go. I'll go see him in the front row if you want. So she traded $300 in her tickets and got 2 front row tickets all the way to on the right side of the stage. And a guy came up to me and her during the front of that concert, by the way, just to finish this story. Said, you guys can go get anywhere you want in the front, just go anywhere. And I was there early, always early. I see shit happen, crazy shit happen. I'll tell you one time in Orlando when I saw her in the teens, but at that concert, we moved right. I put myself right in front of her microphone in my white shirt, and anyway, her little dangly things from her microphone. That's where I was the whole night. And then in the teens, I saw her dozens of times with Fleetwood Mac and Her Alone, all over the place. And
continue on your destructive road. Ooh, your life passes before me like an unknown circumstance. You and your friend are at odds and you are not winning. Why does someone always have to win? And all those races that are run, they cause patterns, strange things to follow when you love someone. So you put that someone in exile, and you say, I'll write a book about it and call it Beloved Exile. What a life with the gas, simply everything that happened when the old lady said, yes, it was sad. She fought a losing battle, one day at a time. She might even make it through tomorrow.
and I started by bringing dates on Match.com that would come to a concert, and I found plenty of people, but it was no fun you have to be a Stevie lover to enjoy that shit. So I stopped doing that and just went on my own and just kept going on my own. And I did bring one girl one time in Tulsa in 2017, and after 2017 I stopped because I didn't like the iteration of the Fleetwood Mac with Mike Campbell and Neil Finn. I didn't like that at all. It didn't do anything for me. Mike Campbell did an old Fleetwood Mac song, you know the one, and it just wasn't exciting. Lindsey's just dynamic on that guitar. He's one of the greatest. He's so underrated. When you see him do Afraid live and in the front row, and he's looking at you in the eye. Stevie never does that. But Lindsey will look you right in the eye and do his solo while looking at you and smiling and doing his thing. And I'm disappointed in those two now. I don't know why Lindsay's such an asshole. You should have just fucking went. Who cares how long they go? Just bring your family. You gotta have $100 million. Bring your family. Go with you every day. Let's go around the world. What do you fucking? You don't want to go out for a year? It's got to be bullshit. You know, there's something else going on. Whatever. Someone's being an asshole, and it's wrong. They should be honoring Christine right now. Mick is raring to go. He's healthy as a horse. John, I guess he lost his wife. I heard. I'm not sure. I don't hear anything. He's not on social media. There's no news on him. But someone online said that maybe he lost his wife recently. I'm not sure. But anyway, the two of them need to get together, finish it off, the right way, Fleetwood Mac, with Mick and John if he can. And, whatever piano player, anyone will do it. Who's a great female piano player? You're not replacing Christine. You're honoring Christine. Find somebody that can do her songs. Maybe a little more rock and roll. I didn't like Christine's songs that much at all, and there's not really one that really stands out other than Songbird, because I know how emotional it is for the band. But I was into Stevie's and Lindsay's music more. So, it wouldn't hurt to rock it up a little bit, her songs. Anyway, I'm not here to chase her down or think I'm ever going to be with her. That's ridiculous, I think I'm going to have to make my movie to make that happen. She may come across this and maybe fund my movie. I don't know. It's going to take a lot of money, $200 million at least, to get started. So that's me and Stevie, and that's how we got along. So I can tell you just in 2017, she released a song from the Book of Henry that hit home, front row seats to the show, Fireworks, which has happened. And so it was kind of prophetic, very prophetic. I was in New Orleans at the time. But her and I, we go back, and she doesn't know it, but we knew each other in another life. I think we were king and queen in another dimension, and we're in opposite ends of the spectrum now, like the peasant and the queen of rock and roll. How could they ever possibly be together? Listen, I'm not broke. I worked 30 years in the car business. I pay my own bills, Stevie. I'll pay my own bills. I'll take care of you. I'll come when you need me. I'll get lost when you don't need me. Hang with your girls all you want. I'll be there when you need me. If you need me, if you need a man in your life that'll love you, if you're missing that, if you're missing something in your life, I don't know. I know a million men must want you. I don't know why you don't have a partner. You don't advertise a partner, or if you're secretly went feminine now for a little while. I don't know. You and Karen have been getting along a long time. I think I emailed her a couple things. I thought it was her email address from one of your official sites at one point, but I don't know if she ever got my email of you dropping your microphone in Memphis. And you dropped your microphone and told the story about how Lindsay thought that was so Las Vegas when you did it one time. And so anyway, I have that whole video if you want to see that. And if we ever do communicate, that'd be great. I won't freak out. I'm used to all you guys. I feel like I know the rock and roll pop genre people like my family somehow. There's got to be some sort of musical relationship, like the Music Man. I keep getting these impressions that there's a Music Man that's kind of the writer and the performer in another dimension, and he's spread those gifts with the angels of that world. And I don't know, I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to play it by ear. I'm listening. I'm to this album, finally this cover of The Cure, and that's what you got to ask ChatGPT these things. You got to have that. And it's very important. Anyway, check it out yourself. I'll show you a picture right here of the album cover. Very cool. All right, bye.
All our society is run by insane people for insane objectives.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I sussed when I was 16 and 12 way down the line. But I expressed it differently all through my life. It's the same thing I'm expressing all the time, but now I can put it into that sentence that I think we're being run by maniacs for maniacal ends, you know. If anybody can put on paper what our government and the American government, etc., and the Russian, Chinese, what they are actually trying to do, you know, and what they think they're doing, I'd be very pleased to know what they think they're doing. I think they're all insane, you know, but I'm liable to be put away as insane for expressing that. You know, that's what's insane about it. Every country's had a violent revolution for one reason or the other. Not one of them has the freedom we're all talking about. So we're saying give peace a chance, you know, like nobody's ever done it before. And it's not a matter of, we're not thinking in terms of 10 years, we're thinking in terms of peace forever, you know. And everybody's talking about now. I want peace now. We can get peace now if we want it now. And the left wing talk about giving the power to the people. You know, anybody knows that the people have the power. All we have to do is awaken the power in the people. The people are unaware. It's like they're not educated to realize that they have power. They put the politicians in power. They vote for the local mayor. The people do it. But the system is so geared that everybody believes that just the father will fix everything. The father being the government. Government will fix everything. It is all government's fault. You know, shake a fist at the government. Well, we are the government. The people are the government. The people have the power, but we must try and make them aware of this. And Yoko was telling me about this great old ancient Chinese book, which tells you how to fight the battle, you know. And it says the battle is always lost within the castle, you know, like America's falling within, not from the commies coming. It's falling apart inside. And this book on how to fight the good fight says that never have every door shut. The enemy then will, everybody's going to come round and attack. But if you leave one door open, you know where they're going to come in, and then you get them. So intuitively we're doing that, and we leave a door open. They're so busy shouting about haircuts and genitals and naked and long hair that they concentrate their ammunition there. We know where it comes from, and we get on with the job of selling or doing whatever we're doing. And I believe that. You leave the door open, man, and that's for the door they'll come in, you know. As a Beatle, we made it, and there was nothing to do. We had money, we had fame, and there was no joy. And then I met Yoko, and she was making it as an avant-garde artist, and we both tried to find something we had in common, a common goal in life, because she couldn't rock and roll with me, and I couldn't avant-garde with her. I mean, we can, but that's what we thought at the time. So we decided the thing we had in common was love, and from love came peace. So we decided to work for world peace.
And how do you do that?
We do it by the advertising method. We believe that today's society, advertising is the thing politicians use and commercial companies use. The Beatles use it. John and Yoko should use it. Our product is peace. Less words and more peace. I think the only way to do it is Gandhi's way. And that's non-violent, passive, positive, or whatever they called it those days. We're selling it like soap, you know. And you've got to sell and sell until the housewife thinks, oh, well, it was peace or war. That's the two products. Peace.
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 Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace.
Peace in your mind, peace on earth, peace at work, peace at home, peace in the world.
It's to try and get people orientated to think peace, like eat for peace, breathe for peace, and dance for peace, and make love for peace, you know. To just have the peace like a mantra going round and round in your head. War is a game that's gone too far, you know. It's just like we've all just woken up one morning and thought, is it a dream, is it a nightmare, what's been going on? And we're all just trying to make the next day a bit better. Oh yeah. I don't want to waste all this film on our face, do we? We specifically did the poster event around the world for Christmas to try and get at least one plug-in for peace on earth at Christmas, because that's what it's about. And happy birthday, Christ, you know, is what it's about.
If you had one wish for Christmas time, what would it be?
Peace on earth. Peace on earth. That implies no violence, no starving children, no violent minds, no violent households, no violence, no frustration, no fear.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done?